Alright, back for the second match with RWBurn. On the play here, this hand's fine. We got a lot of cheap removal spells, and most of them go to the dome. So, pretty much what we're looking for in a red deck. Or at least a burn deck for what it's worth. Scrying here, not excited about a land on top, but if it's a mountain, it'll let us play Searing Blood, while also hopefully unlocking War Leader's Helix at some point. But usually you just draw lands incidentally over time in these kind of decks. But Sacred Founder, not so bad. Depending on what he plays on turn 1, if he plays anything. Either play that tapped, or potentially kill it. And, yep, I think we're just going to kill that. Alright, so I think I do just want to go ahead and kill that guy, and I really just want to throw the rest of my burn spells at his dome. So don't mind shocking myself here if he's a green-red monsters deck. You know, he's probably going to play like Sylvan Carotid or Scavenging Ooze on 2. If he's mono-green, which would be kind of cool. Interesting. Maybe he's green-white. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and shock this guy. He can get a little out of hand, and shock is not all that valuable. It's possible I should have just magma jetted it so I can go ahead and scry, but Ranger's Guile, eh? Alright, well, I'll just let that resolve. I guess he's mono green. Let's just go for the dome. If he plays something that could potentially pump the experiment one, I may just try to magma jet it in response. He could be playing Giant Growth or something similar if he's already playing Ranger's Guile, so that would be pretty gross. He may, if he doesn't have anything, we just don't have to attack with Mutavault, which is, or don't, he might not attack because we have the Mutavault, which is pretty sweet, but next turn we could potentially, if he does nothing, just, yeah, just Magma Jet. Actually, he might have Boon Satyr. He just doesn't want to trade off with the Mutavault. Let's see. We got 12 points in hand. I don't know. Just go for it. Dome you. Yeah, maybe that shock was just a bad play. We're going to put the mountain on bottom. We don't need another land for Helix anytime soon. And thankfully, putting those 2 lands on bottom means we're not going to draw very many more, hopefully. We're going to go and try to get in 2 points here with the Mutavault. Every point counts. If he has some sort of trick like Boon Satyr, we may be forced to kill it with the Lightning Strike. Really don't want to, though. If he has a Giant Growth or some other effect, or even another Ranger's Guile, I think that's okay. Giant Growth. I think I'll just let that happen. Gets to kill our Mutavault, which kind of stinks, but it's unlikely our Mutavault's actually going to get in any damage to this game. So it's not very good against the heavy creature-based decks, but it's fantastic against the control decks, so, which is why we play it. Well, that's Mega Tilt. He's just going to be able to gain 3 life a turn against... Oh, man, we can never beat this card. Oh, man, that's really bad for us. Probably going to get Giant Growth out of the game. That's pretty funny. Mono Ranger's Guiles and a card we can never beat. Maybe that's why Wear and Tear's in the sideboard. Seems reasonable. Yeah, I'm just gonna concede. There's no way we can ever beat Bo and Nylea. Alright, come on, Wear and Tear's. Chain of the Rock seems pretty good too. I think the Dictate's probably insane too. We just want to throw everything at him. Harness by Force maybe too, although this card could get blown out by Ranger's Guile. Again, we're like in racing situations, so the Eidolon is probably bad. Skullcracks also seem pretty bad, so we'll just trim on those. Try to get a little tricky. Oh yeah, Satyr Fire Dancer is definitely coming in. Sorry, let me rework this a little bit. It's possible the harnesses aren't that great, but we didn't actually see a lot of his deck, so I'm not entirely sure. We can't cut too much more burn, or else our deck won't actually do anything. Chandra's Phoenix, I guess, is fine, but this doesn't seem like a real attrition-based deck. I just want to have big blowout cards. So Satyr Fire Dancer, Harness by Force, and Dictate. Just gonna try to kill all his tough stuff. Skullcrack might actually be good though if he has Nylea's Disciple, so that's something to consider. Maybe the Wear and Tears, I just don't want them, even though he has Bow of Nylea. That's tough. Maybe I just hope he doesn't draw Bow of Nylea. Just bring in some Skullcracks in case he has Nylea's Disciple. I can kind of mitigate against the Bow on occasion. Man, this is hard. Okay. Let's light him up. Alright, game 2. This hand's pretty good. I think I'm going to lead with Mutavault to try to get in 2 damage against, hopefully, an irrelevant 1-drop. Or if he doesn't have 1-drop, we'll just battle. It's fine. Ranger's Guile's pretty big game against Searing Blood, though. Alright. There probably comes an Experiment 1 or an Elvish Mystic. Experiment 1 it is. Pretty cool mono green deck from our opponent. Lots of Ranger's Guiles. Having a card like Bow of Nylea in your deck is obviously pretty good against a burn deck, especially when there were 2 burn decks in the top 4 of the most recent Star City games open. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of Bow of Nylea in general. So that card has been pretty good in various decks I've tried it in. It's pretty versatile, has a lot of different abilities, but obviously very good against us. Colonian Tusker has been announced. Alright, so I think we just go... I feel like we just chain to the rocks his Colonian Tusker, but that might be bad. And then attack for 2, and then try to burn him out, maybe? It's possible this is going to backfire, but we have plenty of removal in our hand to take care of his guys if we need to. But I'm trying to just basically get as much damage as possible right now. Hope he doesn't play Bow of Nylea in the next few turns, because if he ever gains 3 life, basically every turn he gets to draw a card, since almost every card in my deck deals 3 damage. So I really think I want to top deck Satyr Fire Dancer. That would be pretty good. Now I wish we had Anger of the Gods in the sideboard. That'd be a pretty sweet one to bring in against Weenie Rush decks. Dictate of the Twin Gods, eh? Alright, let's go ahead and Searing Blood the Emissary and then attack for 2. If he wants to chump block, I'm fine with that. We don't want to burn a bunch of our burn spells to kill his guys right now, since we did draw the Dictate. If we draw a land, we're basically just going to take a few points of damage from his guys, in the turn flash it, untap, and then throw a lot of burn at his dome. I do appreciate the power of something like Furnace of Wrath, or that type of effect. Swordwise Centaur. It's pretty good too. Now if we don't draw a land, I'm probably going to shock his Swordwise Centaur and then attack for 2, assuming he battles for 5, which would make pretty good sense here, putting me to 9. But if we draw it, we're just going to take 8, I guess. Or if he plays some sort of combat trick, we have a couple ways to counter it, basically. So Warrior Leader's Helix ain't bad. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and shock his guy, battle for 2. Just keep getting in those incremental points while we can, and then probably, let's see, this puts him to 9, and then we can take 5, go to 4, maybe 6, go to 3, depending on what he plays. Helix him down to 5, putting us safe from a lethal attack, hopefully, and then untap and double Lightning Strike. Depending on what he does, though, we may just have to play 2 Lightning Strikes and kill his guys. Or maybe even War Leader's Helix him. Take 6. Oh, he's got Giant Growth? That's pretty gross. Yeah, Ranger's Guile plus Giant Growth kills us. Alright, well, that was the second round, losing to Mono Green as expected. Mono Green, a pretty sweet deck. But yeah, that's second match. We'll be back for another match in just a minute.